Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 238 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
I've got a new internet challenge.
Ooh. All right.
Just like the Ice Bucket Challenge. It's the listen to Carpenter Brute and do the speed limit challenge. I tell you right now, it's impossible.
I know, man. That album trilogy that's like all of his EPs.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some like adrenaline pumping songs in there, man. So you finally gave that a full go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's great.
And it gives me a bit of a Halloween feel because of the Turbo Killer video. Mm-hmm. So leading into that, how was Halloween before the 4th?
Summerween was I just punched my microphone. Sorry about that. Summerween was excellent.
Awesome.
It went off without a hitch. It actually people were a lot more enthusiastic than I expected. I was going to. I figured it would just be like movies and some pizzas and that'd be it.
Mm-hmm.
But like my nephew and his mom, they carved a watermelon and a pineapple.
Brilliant.
They made pumpkin Rice Krispie treats.
Nice. Okay.
Bunch of people So here's one thing I don't get is we invited some friends and they had friends in town, 3 friends that came, and they all 3 came dressed like immediately recognizable as the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus.
Really?
Yeah, but
that's like
they
a
were
deep cut for you.
Yeah, they were just visiting Nashville. They live in Louisiana, so I don't know how they got these Sanderson sister costumes together just short notice.
There's one of them that's a hoarder, and it finally paid off. We always travel with a Halloween attire. It's just what I do. That's cool, man. I was actually thinking about you today. I was listening to an old, specifically because of this. There's a podcast I like called My Brother and Me. It's 3 brothers from West Virginia just kind of goofing around. It's hilarious. And one of the things they have is a couple of segments where they answer old Yahoo Answers questions,
Okay.
Which is great. So one of the topics they had was somebody sent in, what are good names for, like, what are good Halloween or spooky names for, like, spaghetti and salad and garlic bread or something. And they were coming up with all sorts of like goofy names. I'm like, man, Dustin would be loving this because it's Halloween puns.
Yeah.
And I was listening in the summer. It was cool, man. I'm glad it went off well. That's awesome. And again, why would they have had Hocus Pocus ready?
I don't know. But my buddy and his wife showed up as Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World.
Awesome. That's a good. You can throw that together. Instantly recognizable. Hey, what are your thoughts on recycling a Halloween costume? What's an appropriate amount of time before you can wear it again?
I would say, like for the average person, just get one costume and stick with it if that's what your thing is.
Okay. They were thinking 7 years, but they get kind of. These brothers seem into it though.
Yeah,
like, I'm into it enough. If you're
super into it, I don't think you wouldn't be able to recycle ever.
So I feel like 7 years is good. I'm into it enough, but if I could have a good rotation of 5 or 6, I'd feel really good about that. I wouldn't want to be known as the Wolverine or something like that. But give me a Peter Venkman in here, or a good deal. So I'm glad that went well. How was your 4th of July for America's birthday?
It was really good. We went to a local park.
Nice, gorgeous weekend for weather for this whole weekend and the holiday yesterday.
Yeah, it was great. Went to a local park. They put on a free fireworks show. It was awesome.
Awesome.
They had blow up slides and obstacle courses and stuff for Solly to run around in.
Cool.
Ruin his socks because you can't go with shoes on.
Well, and that's got to drive you nuts, like him not having clean socks. Isn't that a big
Yeah,
a big
a
thing.
little. He's gonna outgrow them in like a week anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true. He's at that age.
But
How is he with fireworks? Does he love them, or are they too loud still?
this was the first year he could finally tolerate them.
Okay, that's a lot.
He Yeah, he started with I had some ear protection, like some earmuffs
Mm-hmm.
that he put on, and by the end of it, he wasn't wearing them, and he was just watching them and enjoying them.
Awesome. Yeah, even sometimes I'll get startled watching fireworks. Like some will
Yeah.
be like low, and yeah, I ended up. I was dog sitting this weekend for my little sister,
Hmm.
and my buddy Sam came over with a couple of his dogs, and he's got this border collie that catches frisbees like the beginning of Flight of the Navigator, like hardcore '80s, unbelievable. His dog was amazing at it, but she was terrified when some fireworks started going off on
Yeah.
Saturday. So
There was a bunch of people at the park that brought their dogs. I'm like, that seems like a bad idea.
maybe they were all hunting dogs. Maybe
Maybe. I hope.
I
Some of them hunting chihuahuas.
could scare those things into the sewers. Get rid of them. Chihuahuas are gross. Sorry if you have a chihuahua. I probably think it's gross. I don't like pugs either.
Yeah.
My roommate in college brought a pug without asking any of the roommates, and it was a horrible dog. Pugs just sound gross all the time. They can't breathe. I feel
Yeah.
bad for them.
Like, they're just constantly dying, and you just want to put them out of their misery.
Yes, they suffer from beginning to end. There's no joy in a pug's life.
Oh. Oh goodness.
So, well, welcome to Classically We're a video game podcast. So, I guess we'll start talking about games. This week was pretty light in the news because we still are within arm's reach of E3. We're before Madden coming out, and 4th of July fell right in the middle of the week, pretty much on a Tuesday. So,
Yeah.
that limits. But we do have some cool things to talk about. I have one mild correction, I guess, Dustin.
Okay.
And I still feel really strange about this. I feel like I'm the only one with a positive report about the Sega Forever games that are out. I've heard two other podcasts now say, "Oh yeah, the emulation's terrible. Like, don't even bother." And I've tested on 3 devices and it runs great on all of them.
Huh.
I've tested on a Google Pixel, a Nexus 5X, and an old Moto X 2013. It runs great on all of them. Now I've only really played Sonic the Hedgehog,
Hmm.
and I've only done Bluetooth controller. So I'm wondering if some of this is because people were looking at a reasonable control scheme on a touchscreen.
Yeah.
That sucks, of course. Like, it's a platformer. There's tolerable ways to do platformers
Yeah.
with touch, but not like a good ground up way. But they said it was made in Unity and it's causing some, I don't know. It just, the frame rates have been excellent for me. Am I just getting lucky? I don't know. Or is Sonic the only good one? And Kid Chameleon and Altered Beast are just, those suck. I don't know.
Altered Beast has always sucked.
It is a bad game. I have. I shouldn't necessarily say bad. I should say I don't find it very fun. Never have. But my parents used to live in, or grandparents lived in a town called Chatham, Ontario.
Hmm.
And they had these Japanese neighbors across the street, and they had a Sega Genesis. And Altered Beast blew my mind. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I have that memory, but I don't enjoy it when I beat the big first giant boss at the beginning with like the Wolfman darts, and then I just turned the game off. Did you ever play that game outside of the console? Did you ever play it in the arcades?
I think I have. Like maybe I went to the beach and one of those random arcades had it.
Yeah, I my memory is definitely from the consoles, but I've since played that. Yeah, Ultra Beast isn't that great.
Mm.
It's shocking that they went with that as a launch lineup. They should have just stuck with Wonder Boy. or Alex Kidd or something. Like,
the pictures look good.
That's true.
The giant sprites.
And I am looking backwards at it instead of...
Yeah.
It did look really good for an arcade port. You could look at both of those and say that's pretty close. So. But yeah, mild correction, I guess. Don't take my word for it. Outside of those 3 devices, I guess the Sega Forever things aren't good.
Your mileage may vary.
Mileage will vary, I guess. Or I am not as much of a pixel snob as I thought.
Right, yeah.
That could be it, too. Also, I wanted to mention briefly, haven't played it. Dustin, you don't have a Switch, so you have not played this. The Zelda DLC was released. So, eventually I'll download it and play it.
It's called like the Masters Challenge or something. I saw a YouTube
Trial of
for
the
it.
Sword or something?
Trial of the Wind. Breath of the Master.
Wild of the Sword. Damn it.
Chalice Dungeons.
There you go. I'll eventually play it, so maybe in the next year I'll get some thoughts on it. But if we're one of the only podcasts you listen to that covers video game news, surprisingly we do have a couple of people like that. Zelda DLC is out if you didn't notice yet, so go check that out, or keep it in mind if you are going to get Breath of the Wild. This is a cool story I saw on Polygon today, Dustin. It's like when I've got several Polygon articles on here. Yeah. As much as I was just talking about my brother and me, who one of the 3 of them founded Polygon. Mm-hmm. So I can separate his staff from him at certain times. But I can appreciate his comedy, even if some of their coverage annoys me. But this was a great story. So the director for the new Wonder Boy game that came out, the Dragons something on Switch and Steam and all that, he knows the old Rayman guy. So I will get their names here in a second.
Michel Ancel.
Yeah, see, there we go. That was actually really good. So Michel Ancel, who I think might have been the guy that was demoing Beyond Good and Evil 2, maybe?
That sounds right. I think
that's the same guy. He had an early prototype of Rayman, the Ubisoft game, for Super Nintendo. I thought that it launched on PlayStation 1, and I think that still might be true. But anyways, he, Omar Cornut, I know. He must have been, his uncle invented cornhole, I guess. But anyways, he is the studio Lizard Cube. Ended up getting, asked Ansel for a copy of asked to borrow the cartridge. He dumped the ROM, and now it's available in a Dropbox for anybody to download and play, and it works in most emulators.
Cool.
Now, it's an unfinished game, so there's goofiness going on. It's not like Star Fox 2 that the ROM out there is 95% of the game done. This is definitely not done. But it's a prototype, and if you're interested in Rayman, fire it up in an emulator. Give this a shot. This seems pretty cool. It seems like a perfect Super Nintendo game, Rayman.
Yeah. It's a cool little chunk of history.
Absolutely. And here's definitely the big bright side to emulation and stuff like that. Great example of some archival stuff. And Ubisoft seems pretty cool about some things. This seems like something that they wouldn't get all worried about. Like, let's say he was a defunct employee and leaked it or whatever. I think they just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
They're really strict with their new stuff, though. Don't mess with that CEO. I guess he's dead or old or whatever. I don't know.
Both.
So, what now?
Both.
Both, okay.
He's old and dead.
So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. The next item, did you happen to look through this article, Dustin?
Yes. Namco Museum coming to Switch for $30.
Interesting.
It is going to have Pac-Man Galaga, Galaga 88, Dig Dug, Tower of Druaga, Sky Kid, Rolling Thunder 2, Tank Force, and here's the big one, Splatterhouse.
Splatterhouse. That's the attention getter for me.
Yeah. For other people, it was Pac-Man Versus, which was only on
GameCube?
GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, one player controlled Pac-Man on the GBA screen, while up to 3 others controlled Ghost on the television screen, but had a limited view of the playfield. So it was like the ultimate multiplayer game for the GameCube.
Right? Yeah, that sounds... they kind of promised that stuff with Wii U, with like Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you would have that kind of gameplay. I don't feel like the Wii U ever delivered on that.
Mm-hmm. Not really.
The Switch, I feel like that could more.
Or maybe it did and no one bought it, so
yeah. Well, no one bought it anyways. Yes, they were really toast. This seems like a good augmented reality thing, though. Like, good for your phones. That sort of kind of gameplay instead of having like a gamepad. But
HD Rumble. See how many ghosts are on the playfield.
Yes. There you go. You can feel like what would you call like the ripples on the bottom of them? Like you can feel them brush over you.
Ghost.
I wanted to call them nipples, but that doesn't seem right.
There you go. Ghost nipples.
Ghost nipples. So this says arcade classics. So these are the arcade versions, I'm assuming?
I'm assuming.
So the arcade version of Splatterhouse is very... that's more attention-getting than any of the others. Because isn't the Splatterhouse on the 360 unlockable? Isn't that the PC Engine or the TurboGrafx 16 one? Or is it the arcade port in that game?
If memory serves, it's the arcade port.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because it seemed like they hadn't released that version in a while, but I guess they had. This is coming for $30, those 10 games, for the Switch.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Could be better.
20, I think, would have been a purchase for me.
Yeah.
They are good games, though. If you're an Namco fan, this is a great collection.
I wonder if it's digital download only, or if that's going to have a physical copy.
I digital download. It's so redundant.
It could be a physical download.
Hey, look. I know you live in 2338 or whatever. The rest of us humans don't understand that yet.
I guess that would just be teleportation, right?
Yes, like my TV. Which would be amazing. Oh, 3D printers, you could argue, is.
Yeah.
No way. We're off track. $30, right. I think is reason. I guess I feel like they would sell more at 20, but I don't know if they would sell enough to make up the difference, because I do think it'll sell at 30.
Yeah.
I just won't be one of them, I don't think. Did they say also Steam? Switch. Oh, it's just for the Switch, I believe. There's some updates in the story as well. So, I don't know. If there's a wish list and that goes to 20, I'll pick it up. Those are some fun games. Cool. Well, what do we got next? Cuphead is not coming to PS4. The dev has confirmed. I never thought that it was. I thought this had an Ori feel to me for some reason. I always assumed it was only PC and Xbox. Actually, I thought it was only PC, period. Is this a surprise to you at all? Did you think it was everything?
I did. I kind of assumed it was.
Well, that's been clarified now.
I guess some money exchanged hands, and they were like, never mind. Never mind PS4.
Probably. And I think this has already not been confirmed for Switch or anything. But wouldn't that be like some sort of that'd be a hell of a middle finger to Sony if Microsoft is like, anything but the PlayStation. You can put it anywhere else. I don't care. I'm getting nervous. I think I'm overhyped for Cuphead. I think it might be one of those like a No Man's Sky for me, because the trailer blew me away a long time ago. I don't know if I really want a boss rush only. I know we talked about it before, but I really want to know what's between the bosses, if there's any fun there, or if it's just big baddies.
Could be like Alien Soldier, and it's just a boss rush.
Which would be all right, I guess, but it probably wouldn't interest me.
Maybe it's like 5-minute cutscenes in between each.
Good cutscenes actually could get me on board. That's a really unique set of circumstances that I think I would actually... I watched those era cartoons a lot when I was a kid. Because from like the 1950s, they ran everything from 20 years before. And then in the 80s, ran everything from like the 70s to the 30s. So, cool. Also, Diablo 3 Rise of the Necromancer is out. It's like it's got some extra stuff. It's not a full expansion, but it's a new character. I didn't buy it. Didn't download it. Dustin, I know you still are grinding away, working on special builds in D3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'm still trying to get through on hardcore.
Yeah, so this is another one of those bullet points where we should just mention it, but we don't really have anything to say. Two other quick things, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. There's a YouTube channel I like a lot. I've talked about it before, Tech Syndicate. And they had a splitting up of the personalities on the show that got kind of messy. It really reminded me of when the Completionists, when Gerard and Greg kind of split up. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of like mystery and back and forth on forums about it and stuff for their community. I'm not a part of it. I just watched. But they changed their name to Crit. And over the last year, it's been Crit or Crit TV. And now it's back to Tech Syndicate. So I'm happy about that. The people aren't back together, but the dude that I liked the most is still the main guy on the channel. He's got new people, so I always pictured him as Tech Syndicate anyways. So it feels back to normal for me. So congratulations to them. And then the last thing, Dustin, what could this be used for? Like,
Mario Paint?
And that's about it, right? So Hyperkin came out with a Super Nintendo
Mario
mouse.
is missing?
I think there are some Super Scope games. Or no, some games that you would think would have Super Scope capability. But don't. Maybe some, like Terminator or something I think could use the mouse. But yeah, Hyperkin came out with, I believe, a laser mouse that has an SNES port to it. So... if you got that Mario Paint and you got that fly swatter and your balls all worn out in the mouse, you can get it's $20.
Yeah.
So
well done, Hyperkin. Well done.
It's a very weird product, but I'm glad it's cheap.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Super Nintendo mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it actually does work better than the Super Nintendo mouse. That thing sucks. My buddy Matt gave me one when I got it a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. He also hooked me up with the pad.
Cool.
I guess that's not that easy to come by. It's not like it's valuable from a scarcity standpoint. It's just kind of like G.I. Joe's missing a gun. It's a common game. It's a common item. They sold a bunch of those. Right now, it's holding my switcher. Yeah, I guess if I really wanted an SNES mouse, I might consider this, but I was listening to Pat the NES Punk's podcast, and I think they did a quick search on eBay while they were recording, and there was 260 listings for an original SNES mouse, and they were like $10 or less, or $10 to $15, somewhere in there.
Huh.
So it's not like these are hard to come by.
Well, there's a pretty big
They're good
list.
Okay, let's go over some of the compatibilities.
Advanced D&D, Eye of the Beholder.
Okay.
Let's see, Japan only. A lot of these are Japan only.
Ooh, is SimCity on there?
SimCity. SimAnt. Sid Meier's Civilization.
Oh, okay.
Snoopy Concert.
It's important.
That's Japan only.
What?
Super Caesar's Palace.
How does Japan get U.S. properties only in some things? Like, how do they get exclusive Goonies? Or how'd they get whatever you just said? I lost it. Okay.
Snoopy.
Snoopy. Thank you.
King Arthur's World, Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings Volume 1, Doom.
I was going to ask about Doom. You know, this now $20 seems pretty cool. Out of the novelty of it.
T2, the arcade game, 10-star.
Wild Guns, is that on there?
Wolfenstein 3D? No. That'd be cool.
Super Noah's Ark or whatever? That should be on there if Doom is, right?
Yeah, Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, so I would assume that it would just work.
It'd probably just natively work. Okay, well, there's actually a nice collection of games there, so now I see why they would have done that. And I'm gonna guess it's more accurate if you're playing on maybe an HD TV. I have no idea about that, but maybe there's just like a latency thing or an accuracy thing, where you could kind of fudge it with the rollerball one, but maybe having the laser being more precise might work better.
Yeah,
I don't know, but definitely a cool little item. So Hyperkin. They really feel like the Mad Cats of like our era right now, because they do some stuff that's really cool and some stuff that's borderline garbage. So this seems like on the cool end though. Little niche, but fringe for sure. All right, man. So as far as this week, who's our YouTube channel of the week?
Our YouTube channel of the week is Ragnarok's Show. And he does a Monster of the Week. He does reviews. And what caught my eye was he did an episode of his Forgotten Gems on Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kane Soul Reaver. And it was really good.
Legacy of Kane 2 is one of the free Xbox games this month.
Huh. All right, that's cool.
Does this guy... I tried to watch before, but I didn't see the... This was a late edition, right?
Yeah, it was.
So... Ragnarok's sounds like Ragnaros to me, which is somebody from World of Warcraft.
Okay.
What I'm confused about is this like a general character that was purposed like into this game, or is Ragnaros only a World of Warcraft Blizzard character? For example, is Odin and Thor are used in a lot of different stories in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Odin is a part of just general lore. So, is there something that's Ragnaros that's in other things outside of World of Warcraft, and they just sort of adopted that name? Like, is this a Blizzard fan that expanded his YouTube channel? I'm wondering.
If memory serves, Ragnarok is the end of the world in Norse mythology.
Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. It's weird that I unintentionally picked a Norse as an example.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know about that, right? Oh, yeah, the new Thor's even called something Ragnarok.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Look forward to Thor something Ragnarok.
I actually am. I really liked the first two Thors a lot, so I am looking forward to this. I can't believe Thanks for squaring that away. So, yeah, it's probably a Norse thing. But ROX is how you spell it. Ragnar, yes. ROX show. The Legacy of Kane stuff you did on our channel, was that a full playthrough? Or was that
not yet?
One of the pending ones? Okay.
I got like maybe a third of the way through that. Then I forgot that I was doing it. I should probably go back to that.
Well, someday. Cool. Yeah, check out Legacy of Kane, Soul Reaver, the Forgotten Gem show on Ragnarok's show. I'll have that linked in the description, whether it's on our YouTube channel or website. Good stuff, man. So, real quick, I guess before we get into what you've been playing, I've rewatched the first new Planet of the Apes, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because the third one's coming out. This third one's getting really high, like Rotten Tomatoes scores and whatever. Could this be like low key, like the most underrated trilogy of all time potentially? I never hear anybody talk about these Planet of the Apes as like a great potential trilogy or great movies. Most people are like, yeah, that's surprisingly good is what I hear about them. But that first one's excellent. I really remember liking Dawn of the Planet of the Apes a whole lot. So if this war movie is really good, like, why isn't anybody talking about it? I think the movies are great.
I think people kind of dismiss them
as
kind of like old school sci-fi. The premise is not interesting. I haven't seen any of them.
The very first one, it came out in 2011. The CG is still excellent, and it has a tremendous amount of it. James Franco's like believable. Like I don't. It's great. You usually see him as like a stoner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
He was excellent, I thought, and it's a really good movie. And I liked the second one even more, so I'm excited about this third one. But yeah, no one's talking about it, and I guess no one talks about it in high regard.
Chris Stuckman gave it an A+.
There you go. So now you should definitely try it because it's two of us telling you.
That's the first time. That was the first thing that made me think, oh man, yeah, maybe I should watch this. I don't know. Monkeys taking over the world.
What is?
I guess apes. It's apes taking over the world. I see it and I go, I'm not interested in that in any way, shape, or form.
So which is fair. I would highly encourage you to watch it because it's more than just that, I guess. There's a lot of cool moral stuff to think about from the plot that makes a lot of sense. It doesn't feel pandering. So it's not just like, oh my god, apes versus humans and like, Helm's Deep or something like that. It's a much better script and story than I think that you're expecting.
Yeah.
You should
maybe it's the title. They should have called it Monkey with a Rifle. I'd watch that movie.
That's the second one. And that's an awesome. Yes, that would be. I would watch that too. I forget why. I forget why I watched this. I had the same opinion.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, and I watched them out of order. I watched the second one first. I think it was something like tweeted it was 99 cents. And I was like, whatever. I might as well rent it. It was great. That's how I watched John Wick. Was like Will Smith tweeted like, "Hey, John Wick's awesome. It's 99 cents right now on Amazon." I'm like, all right.
Oh man, did you hear anything about it? Did you go into it completely blind?
Cold. Yeah, I heard it was a fun action movie. Is all I heard.
Man, you're so lucky.
Right? I agree. I appreciate that very much. I was that way with The Matrix as well. Completely cold, no idea. Maybe that's why I've had a couple of really awesome experiences with movies being cold that I hate. Like maybe that's why I'm hypersensitive to spoilers. I still remember the first spoiler that I've ever had that really pissed me off. Someone told me in grade school that in Ernest Scared Stupid, the troll's allergic to milk. So, like, the Miak joke was ruined for me. I hate it. I was so mad that kid told me it was milk. Since then, it changed my life, that one little comment. Now I'm a wimp.
Miak. I need to watch that. I hadn't seen that in a million years.
It is so dumb and bad. I love it, though.
Yeah.
So, the thing about that movie is I remember it being on par with, in my mind, like Dennis the Menace and Sandlot and stuff.
Yeah.
You see it now, and Dennis the Menace is still a great movie. Sandlot's incredible. Like, that's
Yeah,
an
it's still a
all-time great movie. Troll, Ernest doesn't hold up like that. I remember being kind of scared of the troll and being turned into a wooden child.
Yeah.
It is really dumb. It's weird how just because it was at the theater automatically qualified it as a good movie in my mind. I went and saw it in the theater, so it was great.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, man. Well, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, what'd you get into this last week?
I pressed play on my Blu-ray player, and I watched Resident Evil Vendetta.
So, game adjacent.
Yes. Game related.
Okay. Yes.
And it's also podcast related because your brother and I talked about it.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil weirdos.
Yeah.
The fact that you love Resident Evil, like, makes me want to reach through the internet, like, Clockwork Orange style, pin you to a chair, and make you watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Just right now, you have to do it. If you're into Resident Evil and you're into good stories, you gotta watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Good cast. John Lithgow, is that his name? Third Rock from the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Dude and Dexter. Yeah. He was excellent in the movie.
Cool.
That was, man, he was an excellent bad guy. Did you watch that season of Dexter?
Yes. That was the last one I watched.
Me too. I think that's the last one you should watch. But
yeah.
All right. So Resident Evil Vendetta, I've never seen it.
It is brand spanking new. It's the third CG film.
Okay.
In the Resident Evil CG film trilogy. It's actually pretty funny because the live action Resident Evil movies are hot, wet garbage. And the CG Resident Evil movies are like watching the video game. It's like a 90-minute Resident Evil video game. It's excellent.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you said this is out now?
Mm-hmm. I watched it on Amazon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And to give you an idea, I'll buy it on Blu-ray because it's that good.
All right.
I
know I kind of want you to dig in a bit, but then I also want to be conscious of if anybody not want to see a spoiler or anything.
Okay. I will tell everyone what is in the description of the Blu-ray or the movie itself. It has Chris Redfield, Leon S. Kennedy, and Rebecca Chambers in it. And there is viruses and zombies.
Okay.
And another one of the guys who made the movie saw John Wick, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm now. That's a good sell right there. How were the actors themselves? I mean, those are characters that we know from the game, but how's the casting and stuff?
I think they used the old Leon and Chris Redfield. Rebecca Chambers is new, but there hasn't been a Rebecca Chambers. She hasn't been in a game since Resident Evil 0, and that came out on the GameCube, so that makes sense. All the voice acting is good. The animation is really good. Like, the facial animation is good. They not only is the voice acting good, but they added like breathing and swallowing noises.
Okay.
In a way that actually makes it sound like someone would be
not like a Looney Tunes gulp. Like
right. Gulp? Yeah. Zombies. But like somebody will take like a drink of water and it sounds like someone taking it. They probably just had the voice actress take the drink of water, like when they were doing the motion capture.
I like when you have good sound design. Makes especially in an action movie.
One thing I will say I noticed was maybe the the facial capture wasn't granular enough to catch every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like it looks like the movie was dubbed over.
Okay.
Like
I know exactly what you mean.
the actor was saying the lines in English, but then they like came in with ADR and did it over again.
Yeah.
So that took me out a little bit, but not enough to like say don't bother watching it.
And sometimes you just get used to it. Like if you're watching like a Godzilla movie that was dubbed.
Yeah, or it also they looked really good, so maybe it was kind of an uncanny valley
Oh yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, Resident Evil Vendetta. If you like the first two CG movies, you'll like this one. There's a really good amount of it gets pretty crazy at the end. Is
there good suspenseful moments?
Yeah,
Like a couple good white knuckle moments.
leading up to the climax. Like in the first and second act, there's actually some really good, like suspenseful, spooky, like Resident Evil moments.
Cool. Someday.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I also was a little light with gaming this week. Yeah, holiday golf. What am I supposed to be seeing? Hold on. I can see red. Is that Blade Runner?
Close.
I see
Blade Runner on the Sega CD.
Oh, okay.
BRB, hold on.
Okay. Yeah, so Dustin must have got something. Oh, that's the vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about this. Yes. So, Dustin, why don't you fill everybody in? And I apologize. I thought it was a good value. When I saw the price, I almost picked it up.
So when you have good friends who are into the same things that you are, occasionally you get a text message that will cost you money.
Yes.
That has happened to both of us. Like we've done that to each other numerous times. But this time,
but we hold it. We that's sacred, right? That's I know 100% you're going to be into this.
Yeah, definitely. So Scott sent me a text message one day saying that the Snatcher soundtrack is now available on vinyl, and that was a Retroware link you sent me, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I forget if it was John D or Lance or I forget who. I think it was John D.
I think it was John D. Yeah.
Yeah. He put up a review of the Snatcher vinyl. Mm-hmm. And before I was done, I sent the link to Dustin. As soon as he said it was still on sale, I was like, oh my God, Dustin needs to know about this right now.
Yeah. And being like one of the few that owns the game, it's probably out of the shot since I'm
just barely
right there. I actually own the Sega CD version,
which is that's the most sought after. That's the one everybody wants.
That's the definitive version because you can not only can you use the Sega CD light gun during the Snatcher fight phases, but I think it's the only one that's in English.
Does the Sega CD have a specific? I think I have a Sega CD gun that would work. I have Lethal Enforcers.
Yep, that's the same one. Is it the Justifier?
Yes, I think I have the blue one. Like I have the one that can accept another gun, which I believe is blue, and I think pink is the one that connects to the gun.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So yes. Next time you're in town, make sure to bring the Sega CD.
But yeah, it's pretty cool because if you're playing the game, you just have the gun on you, and when one of those scenes happens, you hit the start button on the gun, and it's like you're pulling the gun out. It registers the gun, and you can shoot the screen.
I did not know that. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's one of those Hideo Kojima, like only he would think of doing that. And putting it in a game.
That's another thing. I keep forgetting that he did that game. Just, I don't know why, but when I was watching the Retroware video, he mentioned Kojima. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
But that also explains the popularity and the depth and all that. Also, Jerry Terrifying used that theme song as his podcast. Somewhere in I think his intro music for a long time. That sax kind of...
Yeah.
It's a good
So
song.
good.
So which there were some variants in the vinyl color, right?
Hmm. I think there was like maybe red, clear,
And like a paint
probably.
splat one almost, or like white with like a colors blotch in it.
Yeah, that one's called Snatcher's Eye Green. And I
Okay.
figured that was the one that was the most appropriate. That's the one I got.
Hell yeah. I think that's the one I would have went for. I like the idea of vinyls being colored that way with images and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially since vinyl's coming back, it just goes to the thing. The hardcore collectors, get them something special. They'll pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super stoked on this. I need to find a turntable now.
They came with they come with an MP3 link, like so you could download high quality MP3s.
I don't know.
It might be in there. Or you're gonna
Listen,
open it though eventually, right?
I will eventually.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. You should almost
I know.
open it sooner rather than later. You don't want that price to build up and get that anxiety.
That's probably a good idea. If I have a means to play it, then I'll play it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd like I said, I don't own a turntable, but I also kind of want to keep it stiff so it doesn't warp.
Yes.
Kind of sealed up would probably help do that.
Like places like Hobby Lobby and Joann Fabrics and Kohl's or whatever that sell frames, you can get really good frames specifically for vinyls.
Cool.
So you could put that, you can, $15 or whatever, you can have an awesome way to like display it on your wall. And that keeps it from bending and warping.
Dude. Whoop. Sorry.
Got to remember to water those flowers.
That's right.
Or
Even though it's
peppers.
been raining for like the past 8 hours straight.
Which has been, the rain on and off has been perfect for me. My parents were out of town, so I was supposed to take care of my parents' mail and water my mom's plants. Didn't have to do any watering. It was wonderful. Well, cool. Yes, the Snatcher vinyl. I don't know if it's still on sale. Just, I guess, Google it, look for it. I would imagine it was popular. So they'll probably do more than one print run of it if they sold out really quickly.
Yeah.
And the cover art's gorgeous. Like, it looks... I'm glad you got that already. That's impressive you got it so fast.
I pulled in today and I saw that leaned against under my carport and I was like, "Oh, my album!" Yes.
Christmas in July. There you go.
Yeah. And then there's one more thing, but this one is missing. It used to be right here,
Okay.
and that was my Turbo Duo.
It's... So what do you... Does that mean that you've hooked it up? So
I took it to the range and I shot it. No, I'm joking. I mailed it to someone to repair.
Nice.
Because I was sitting there today. I was actually, I was YouTubing different video games as you do at work, and I was thinking about my games, and I started pricing them again, looking through to see what cool stuff. And I was thinking about all my rare Turbo Duo games, and I never get to play because the stupid thing doesn't have sound. I mean, I can play them, I just won't be able to hear them.
Yeah, that's been a bugaboo for you for well over a year now, maybe even 2.
Yeah, it's been forever and a day. But I think since I've lived here, and it's been almost 4 years at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you have an incredible collection behind you, so it's easy to let that slip away, you know?
But today I finally said, you know what, screw it. I'm sending it in. Like, I made the decision and already mailed it out today.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed if it turns out well, we'll give the guy a shout out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
He was well reviewed. I did my research before I sent him my...
You know, I almost sent in my SNES to get modded before Tony hooked me up. In my HD Retrovision cables, that was a text message from you that I got that was expensive, but I'm super happy you sent it. Those poor guys. But I was emailing with Voltaire's shop, who's like one of the best modders, period, for that kind of stuff. And I just got lucky, saw him recommended on some forums, and now like I see him on YouTube a lot. He does a podcast with Retro RBG and the guys from HD Retrovision.
Yeah.
It's just weird that it's clearly a very small community. Because
Mm-hmm.
independently, I found like all of them, and they're all buddies. So there's not much going on. If you're into that, you'll find those guys. But after watching some of his videos, it's like, oh my god, I would have sent, if I did send it to a modder, I got lucky and found an incredible one. So hopefully those reviews are accurate, and you found the Voltaire of Turbo Duos. I hope it's not too long of a turnaround for you too. Did he give you an estimate or anything?
He said about a week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was. I was expecting like 2 at the least.
Right.
So if I get it back next Wednesday, then man.
If he thinks it's just gonna be a week, I bet he's really confident that it's a common issue that he knows already how to fix.
Yeah,
like replacing a cap or resistor or something.
Even if he doesn't, even if he keeps it for a while and it just comes back in good shape, that'd be great. Because he says he'll do complete recap. He will fix traces on the motherboard if he needs to, or the PCB. I don't know if that technically is considered a motherboard. He'll do the AV port because it kind of cuts in and out if you move the composite cable.
Oh, okay.
So, man, if it comes back in perfect working order, I will be canceling the podcast and playing it.
Well, we all need breaks. Plus,
I'll stream it, though.
I was going to say, it's not like anyone in our audience will still benefit as much as you will from that thing being fixed.
Yeah. Man, just a Turbo Duo stream? How awesome would that be?
Not would, will.
Yeah.
And it will be. Because you've got some really fun Turbo Duo games. Obviously, like Castlevania Rondo of Blood, but I kept wanting to say Chronicles, and I knew that was the Super Nintendo or the remake. But yeah, I mean, you have a lot of other cool stuff outside of that, so I will be excited when you get that back too. Has the Hapog stopped giving you trouble?
It seems like it's worked a little bit more consistently.
Do you want me to? I've got one I don't use. I'm going to send that to you, and I mail that hard drive that I promise I'm going to get to you. That new SSD. I'll do that this week. I'll send you that as well.
What is it?
The PVR2, the Gaming 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sweet.
I mean, I don't use it anymore. And I've had better luck with the Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
With some, you know what? No, now that I have the OSCC, I'll send you the Rocket.
Okay.
I've had better luck with retro stuff with that one. So that might make more sense. Yeah. That's how the sausage is made, people. We
there you go. A little
trade equipment until something works. So more YouTube stuff. A couple of months ago, I mentioned that I bought the Gaming Historian Blu-ray from the Indiegogo fund thing that he did.
All right.
And that came delivered on time. Quite impressive. And the DVD is excellent. It's signed. Didn't expect the cover to be signed, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
There is a Blu-ray exclusive episode that he says he's never releasing outside of the Blu-ray.
Dude.
So that was really fun to watch.
Rip it and post it to our channel. No.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it was just neat. I don't know. You felt like you were in on something at the early part of it or whatever. The video was his exclusive was a 20-minute episode, so nice, not like a short one like one of his longer ones. And it was about the Grand Theft Auto hot coffee mod.
Right.
And because what that did is allow you to unlock a lot of the sex stuff that they took out of GTA San Andreas. There was a lot of stuff that wouldn't fit his channel when he's showing visual examples of what the game unlocked.
Right.
So it's like perfect for the Blu-ray, like a director's cut. It's adult themed, where a lot of his other stuff is not. And then, sure enough, Take-Two just had modding issues. Like, they were in the news for modding, and it seemed like Rockstar was in a little bit different of a stance now than what was in the Blu-ray. It was cool, and the timing of watching that was particularly great. And it's awesome. I mean, it's good quality, and I also got the Angry Video Game Nerd X3 as well. That just got listed on Amazon a week or so ago.
Cool.
So, good old buying YouTube Blu-rays. What a weird thing to do.
I've got all of Spider 1 Ace.
I've got...
He's the Turbo Views guy.
Okay. I've got some RetroWare Video Game Years ones.
Ooh, all right.
What's that guy, though? The 81, the guy you were just talking about. What's his name again?
Spider 1A?
Yeah, Spider 1A. What are his like?
They're awesome. He does TurboGrafx specific reviews.
Okay. And that's what the Blu-ray is like compilation?
Mm-hmm. Although these were DVDs because that's how long ago I bought them. I don't think Blu-rays were even readily available at the time.
The RetroWare's Video Game Years aren't on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Did it have commentary or anything?
I think so.
Norm's does. Like, he has commentary for all the reviews. And I think it's like 13 of his reviews or something.
Mm.
It's definitely very cool stuff. So yeah, Gaming Historian. Also, Elder Scrolls Online came in the mail, Dustin.
How'd that go?
I built a character. I think I'm a dark elf. Played a few minutes, did a very first quest. There's a section I need to beat initially. It's kind of like the tutorial, and then I can play with Tony. It installed 30 gigs from the disc and then downloaded another 40.
Oh my gosh.
So that's great.
Just give it its own hard drive. Good gravy.
It is funny you say that because that's exactly what I basically did.
Man.
My old backup service, I used to use Carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
The hard drive, like the physical backup, they would do like a mirror image for you.
Mm-hmm.
It just always screwed up. And sometimes hard drives would just stop working with the software. There's nothing wrong with the hard drive. And it just stopped. So I had one of those hard drive. I had a 500 gig external USB 3 hard drive. Just plug that right into the Xbox. I got to tell you, man, that worked really well. It was super fast. Plugged in a drive. It said, do you want to use this for media? Or do you want to install games and apps on it? If you use media, we'll leave it alone. It'll just work. If you want to install games and apps, it'll have to format it. And it'll only work in an Xbox then.
Okay.
But other Xboxes, it didn't say this Xbox. It said an Xbox.
Yeah.
Less than a minute, probably 30 seconds, and I just get a little notification your drive's ready to use. And you just give it the one other permission click, and you're good to go. So I no longer have to uninstall. Every time there's a big game, I don't have to kick another one out. I'm not uninstalling
Sweet.
Forza. So now I can have 4 big games installed instead of 2.
Yeah.
How insane. Patrick Klepek wrote a great article on Waypoint about how these giant game downloads aren't really the issue. It's our ISPs that are an issue. And I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
It's these data caps that are causing a problem and the lack of incentive to improve the infrastructure right now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure I would disagree with him on maybe how to do that, but he's certainly correct on that point, I think. Because if our bandwidth was better here in the States or across the world, we wouldn't care if something is 40, 50, 100 gigs a download.
Yeah.
But it certainly sucked. I mean, that was hours. I had to leave my Xbox on, and I can't really do much with it.
And it sucks. It sucks leaving any modern console on for hours at a time.
You get scared.
Yeah.
So, but Elder Scrolls, the combat's weird. I've never played. This is my first. I've never played Morrowind. I've never played anything Elder Scrolls before. I don't think I've ever played a Bethesda game before. So this is my first exposure. Combat's initially a little clunky, but I could
Mm.
see a good leveling path to make myself
Ooh.
feel really powerful.
Okay.
There's some initial intuitive blocking mechanics. The swinging mechanic, instead of shooting, you swing a sword with the trigger. It seems like it's a good controller based game. So I'm excited to play with Tony. It looks a little better than I was expecting. I really had low expectations going in, so it's been good so far. And also, I did a stream yesterday morning. I woke up early on the 4th of July and said I'm gonna stream a an America video game. I streamed G.I. Joe Real American Hero on the NES, and that game's incredible. It's really, really good. It's a little unfair at times because it's an NES game that I'm assuming was made by a small team.
Yeah.
It is not a well-known game. I've talked about it on the show before, but I'll go over it again a little bit. It's one of those games that, of course, there's no tutorial. It doesn't tell you how to play. And it makes sense. You just learn different things and you have aha moments as you're playing, which I really enjoy. And you have a lot of customization with the characters that you can put together in your group. So there's 6 worlds or levels or whatever, and then each of those has stages. Each world you get to select 3 out of 5 or 6 Joes, and that's neat. So you can build up characters during your playthrough. There's a password-based system, so I believe that your character progression would continue. Some attributes on a game over don't stay with you, and some do. So as you're going through the level, you'll find little power-ups to your gun. The more you collect, the more powerful your gun gets, of course. And it has that old-school mechanic where, like Mega Man, you have to hit the pause menu, select the right character that you want to level up, and then get the thing. It doesn't share. So we've all done it in Mega Man where we've wasted an energy refill on a weapon that we had equipped when we needed to fill something else.
Yeah.
So that can happen in this, but it's not real common. And you can also gain more life bars as you're finding things and power-ups. If you get a game over, you lose all your weapon progress, but you don't lose your health progress.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense in the real world, but in video games it makes sense. The melee attacks are more powerful than your ranged attacks. So you can hit select to switch between punching and your gun. Unless you get your gun really high level, then it's awesome. But it's a good risk-reward system. Go to melee, and those enemies that are a pain in the butt, you can kill them way quicker. It's a great game. Great music. The graphics are awesome. The fact that there's this level of depth to it, a good password system. I just don't know how it's not a really popular game.
Yeah.
It's a popular license. And I would consider Rambo and Karate Kid not good games at all, but popular. Everyone, it was always at the rental store. You always saw those games. Everyone knew those. I didn't know that this game existed until like SNES Drunk had it featured on his channel.
Man, okay.
I paid I think $40 or $50 on eBay for the cart. Totally worth it. It's an incredible game.
Awesome.
So G.I. Joe Real American Hero. I streamed that. It's on our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch the archive. So yeah, all right, man. Well, let's get to some listener feedback, and then we will call it a show. I'm going to read Dumez's comments, and then our good friend Kevin wrote an email with a good question that we're going to discuss. So Dumez says he's 43 years old, and he finally has tried Taco Bell just within the last 2 weeks. Now, he's in Canada, so I don't know if this was a personal choice or if it just came to Vancouver. I don't know. He said, never mind. If I kept reading, it would explain that. He says, there never existed one anywhere where I lived, and I did not know of it. Or I did not know of it as it was USA only, it looks like. But Holiday, a couple of weeks ago, he saw one, and he had to have it. He had the Doritos taco thing and a couple of others, and it was awesome. Taco Bell is good, like, fast food. Like, on the fast food level, I like it. Those Doritos tacos, we were one of the test markets. So we had it before, like, for weeks before that commercial came out, and then people started talking about it. I just thought it was
Just
a
a new
thing
thing.
now. Yeah, like, you roll up and there's Airhead slushies or something. Like, I just thought, yeah, Doritos are doing a thing. Dumbass also says, I spent over $1,000 Canadian dollars on stuff so far. So more to come. So many games. So he's referring to our Amazon affiliate link. Thanks for clicking on that link and going to the website. Really appreciate
So
it.
he's gonna be like our what are the guys like in the higher ups who like bankroll everything, not the board members.
Not just an investor.
What do you call the investors?
Shareholder?
Shareholder. Yeah.
I was thinking more like Godfather, like, or the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
No, that's a very neat thing, and it does help us quite a bit, because we do have some costs with the show, unfortunately, and eventually we haven't had hosting fees, but I don't know how long archive.org is going to let us use that as our hosting service. Maybe they will. Maybe they love that idea, but
Yeah.
at any point they could say no to podcast downloads, because that's how we host. Like, we don't have Libsyn or anything. It's straight from archive.org. I have them all saved on my computer, but yeah. So if that ever changes, we will definitely need some help with the Amazon stuff. He also says, I recommend you get one of these while you can, because the Wii U gamepad themselves is not already available. He's got a high-capacity battery for the gamepad from Nintendo. He tried a third-party one for $20, but it was a big waste of money. It didn't hold zero charge. It held zero charge after a couple of months. I remember seeing this 8-hour battery. I almost bought it a couple of times. So the normal Wii U gamepad is a 2 to 3 hour capacity.
Okay.
And it's really easy to replace. And this is directly from Nintendo. And you can get an 8-hour battery. $40.
Cool.
If you play it a lot, it is very worth it. Especially if you utilized it in a manner where it wasn't easy to keep plugged in. I think I'm going to pass, but that's a good heads up, Demez. I will have that linked. And it's from store.nintendo.com. So we're not sending you the third-party link or anything. Also, he says Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chip 'n Dale 2, Little Mermaid, 4 NES games I have meant to dive into but never have. Little Mermaid's excellent. Chip 'n Dale 2, yeah, we talked about that last week. Tailspin I don't like. And Darkwing Duck I do like, but I've not played much. Do you have different opinions than any of that?
No. Well, I've never played Chip 'n Dale 2. I played Tailspin a million years ago, and I remember it being bad. I own Little Mermaid, and I want Darkwing Duck.
Little Mermaid is short, and Demez, you're good, so you won't have any problem with it. The artwork, the pixel art in that game is excellent, and the music is done really well. It's easy. It's probably the easiest of all of those. So if you have a little one that wants to play games, that's a good one to go for. Demez also says, go back and rewatch the last episode of Season 1 of Silicon Valley. It had a lot of funny things that he had never seen. Near the end, they are calculating how many... Oh, okay. I don't want to read the rest of that. Just gross. He also says, GIF is a graphical interchange format. He's not complaining. He's just dropping some knowledge because that's what he does. Yeah, we were talking about a graphic...
Traffic Park.
I forgot what the rest of it was. Interchange format. That still is weird that the dude that came up with that says it's GIF. Earlier I said niche, and I don't know if I've ever said niche without explaining that I say niche. It's strange. I think I've heard people talk about it recently, and it was Freudian. Demez also says, so I was going through my old contacts lists, and he has another funny reference to naming somebody in his phone. Which Larry David in the New Career Enthusiasm had that same joke. There's a bit where he was dating a girl that was in a wheelchair. And he didn't know her last name, so he just described her as Denise Wheelchair. And because it's a television show, he ends up on a date with another girl in a wheelchair, and her name's like Rebecca Wheelchair or something. And somehow one has his phone, and there's a whole. He looks like a big asshole. That's basically what it comes down to. My old college roommate would do that. He wouldn't even have a first name sometimes. He'd be so confident he'd remember the name based on the description of his phone. You would go through and he wouldn't have a clue. He'd be like, brown-eyed Italian. I'm not kidding. So, yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Demez. Good stuff as always, man. And then also we have another Canadian writing in, man. We got our good friend Kevin.
From our Canadian correspondent, Kevin says, "Hey guys, long time no write. I finally caught up on the latest podcast so I can be talking about things that are current. First off, the SNES Mini. I want to say I want it, but not as bad as I wanted the NES Mini, which I do have, and the only reason I do have is to tell people that I have it. It's currently sitting on my shelf next to the Coleco Flashback console, which I also play because fuck Coleco. Or I also don't play. The SNES Mini has stronger games, and like the NES games, I've played the shit out of them. Like I said in a previous email, nostalgia for games doesn't work with me as I'm not nostalgic for them. I still play them, I just want it because it's retro and new. Two words that shouldn't coincide, but here they are. Speaking of not nostalgic for games, I mentioned last time that I have Sonic the Hedgehog on everything that has a reflection. Now they're giving away that bastard for free with Sega Forever. The cool thing is I already owned it before, so I get no ads, but have all the newest updates. The bad thing is, people at work and acquaintances are telling me it's free now and I should get it. Like I don't already fucking have it. Hell, I had it on the iPod Video. Ever try to play that dirty SOP on a spin wheel? Not easy.
There's something beautiful about Sonic on the old Apple radial dial.
Yeah.
Like, just somehow that should make perfect sense. Oh, hey, real quick before we go on, the very first Sonic, you could not hold down and do a charge dash, correct?
That is correct.
They added that in 2 and subsequent ones. In the Sonic Forever one, they did add that function into the first one. You can also play as Knuckles.
Cool.
Again, why am I the only one that's got something positive to say? I feel weird about it. Like, what am I missing?
Snap-on technology.
Yes.
Okay, back to the email. That's the people where these nostalgic feels are meant towards. My wife asked how come I don't play my NES Mini, and I told her I own those games on my PSP, Wii, computer, physical cards, and so on. I downloaded Comic Zone, which is rad, but I own a million times on a million consoles, and realized I actually think the game is hard as is and harder on a touchscreen. Kid Chameleon is good. Phantasy Star is good if you're into that sort of thing. And Altered Beast is the equivalent of Balloon Fight by Nintendo. We get it. It's one of the first games, but it fucking sucks. Stop making me play it.
Balloon Fight is fun. I will argue Balloon Fight's a good game. Not by yourself.
Okay.
But we're not alone with Altered Beast, I guess.
I also found a rad arcade/bar in Toronto called Tilt. $5 at the door, and you get unlimited access to arcade games. And I'm not talking about bullshit shooters/car racing games. I'm talking arcade. Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Asteroids with the neon screen, Bubble Bobble, Donkey Kong, Off-Road, Mortal Kombat 3 and Street Fighter 2, and so on. I walked in, and the first thing I saw was The Simpsons. I pushed people out of the way like I was stopping a baby about to eat a battery. Except it wasn't The Simpsons arcade. It was Ninja Turtles.
Hey, another Konami classic.
Conflicted but happy either way. My buddies and I played and beat Shredder forever, making poo, ass, and tit on the scoreboard.
Nice.
Huzzah! Anyways, if you're ever in town, I'll take you there. I've been playing the shit out of Binding of Isaac, easily more than 300 hours into that game. They announced a PS4 physical edition, so I'm going to buy it again because, as we already established, I'm a fucking kid. My question of the week for you guys: what is an arcade cabinet you'd love to own if ever you have a chance? Mine is either between The Simpsons or Ninja Turtles. What are yours? Anyways, peace, love, hope, dream, sing. Wait, peace, love, hope, dance. No, damn. Anyways, peace, love, hope, dream, dance, sing. Bye. Send from my iPhone.
I really want a classic that I could swap the board for. Like, I really want either like a Galaga or a Donkey Kong. I think Donkey Kong's got a vertical monitor. I gotta check that. They might not. But I think I would opt for like a Galaga or a Pac-Man, like that. It's a piece of furniture, so I aesthetically want the cabinet to look right. So I really either want a Nintendo or Nintendo or a Midway, either a Galaga, Pac-Man, or like Donkey Kong or something. But I also do want a board like those knockoff 60-in-1 boards that I could swap in and out. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to have the real Pac-Man, but then also I could throw in a ROM or a board with, Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr., the Donkey Kongs. I'm pretty sure. If Nintendo's vertical, I would want Nintendo. I would want a Popeye, Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong if I could choose it. If that's a horizontal monitor, which I don't think it is, but if it is, then 100% Galaga. So either Galaga or Donkey Kong for me, depending on monitor orientation. What about you?
I would definitely buy Haunted Castle, which is the arcade version of Castlevania.
I think they played that on Cinemassacre this last week.
Did they?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Other than that, one of the Neo Geo MVS cabinets would be rad.
That would be awesome too. Again, because of the super flexibility.
Yeah.
Because it looks great. That red with the black trim.
Mm-hmm.
I would love the 4-slot because the marquee looks so cool. Because you can like slide your own game art in there. I've seen people that just use an inkjet printer, and the light, the way it shines through just on inkjet printed paper, looks great.
Huh.
So you can make your own slides if you don't have them, and they look awesome still. I can't believe I don't own an arcade machine. I've watched the amount of time Kevin's put into Binding of Isaac is like how much YouTube soldering I think I've watched from arcade machines.
You should, that should be your Christmas present to yourself. It could be in your background.
I've been close. That would be. I would actually put it right here, though. It wouldn't be good for the podcast, but functionally, it would be better.
Yeah. We should put it right in the middle of the room. Screw it. Run an extension cord to it.
I'll put it on those floor gliders.
Yeah.
So I'll just wheel it into the background for the podcast and then just put it back.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so if I can cheat, I would. If I could straight up cheat though, like it doesn't matter, I would get a JAMA 90s cabinet, like a Sunset Riders, a Turtles, an X-Men, something like that. Because with the JAMA connector, you can throw like any board in there. You can put like Street Fighters in there. The boards, it's a standardized thing, the connector. So you can throw a bunch of crap in there and it'll display appropriately and the controls will work fine. And then those also have like 1001 carts or boards that are available and stuff. But I don't think that's in the spirit of his question.
Yeah.
So I would probably go Donkey Kong, though, if I was only going to get the one game. And then Galaga is probably my second favorite arcade game like that. Beat 'em ups, I don't. There's not the high score element that I want. If I want an arcade machine, I want that high score stuff. I want Billy Mitchell to know my name.
I don't. I guess he's kind of.
I love hot sauce, man. Like, just straight up. And I don't know any villains. He was straight up a villain in King of Kong.
Yeah. That tie, though, and that hair.
That almost is like something you'd like to see in person. Like, how do you get hair that looks dry, that doesn't move, that's that long?
That's what you get when you do a perfect Donkey Kong run.
It just happens. It's like the MacGuffin in like movies.
It's
Like
a
that,
prize at Twin Galaxies.
lightning shoots out of your fingers. Good deal. So, all right, well, everybody, that's, I think, going to do it for the show this week. So, Domez, thank you for commenting, man. And Kevin, thank you for catching up. He had to work on Monday, but a lot of customers he deals with are in the U.S., so he had a really slow day. So, we got to help him through the day. So, I'm glad you spent American independence with some Americans. And I would love to get to Toronto and have. He said he'll buy me a beer if I get to Toronto, and he'll take me to Tilt. So if I wait long enough, he's gonna promise me a lot.
Yeah, poutine.
Obviously,
yeah.
I want his homemade, and I want him to take me to his favorite poutine spot.
Yeah,
because he's got his mom or his grandma's brown sauce recipe. So I want Kevin to make it, and then I also want him to be like, all right, here's my favorite store bought.
That's the name of the restaurant, actually, the Poutine Spot.
That would be. That's just... Finley's getting just hipster enough. I think I might be able to actually make that successful. With that name and everything. The Poutine Spot?
Yeah.
Because you could. We don't know any better, and we're close enough to Canada. As long as I put a sauce on fries, I could do anything. I could put tzatziki and... Euro meat. I could put taco meat and cheddar cheese.
We'll have to brand it, though. It'll be Classic Leeds Poutine Spot.
Well, we can just be the owners. It'll be the next branch of our business.
Yeah, no, but I think we need to make sure our brand is...
That's true. Just... When our staff's not behaving, we just start playing the podcast. Like, look, you want us to go away and leave you alone? Do your job. That would be really fun to have a place that just did poutine arcade games and beer. That'd be amazing. And we have a bunch of old, built in the 1800s buildings in our downtown that are getting remodeled, so they have that cool brick and the old school ductwork. It's really inefficient, but fits that hipster vibe. The Poutine Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. By Classic Leap. Yeah, we'll bring it. That'll be the logo on all the shirts. I'll have to do something with the website then, though, other than just posting awesome thumbnails. Oh, did you see the thumbnail I made for last week?
I haven't yet.
Go to our Facebook. It's good. You'll appreciate it. So, all right. Well, that's going to be it for the show this week. I'd like to thank Ben Landis very much for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our podcast intro music. That's... Do you see it?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that the correct... what's it called? Hiragana. Is that the correct?
137.
And I even edited the placard next to the door.
Oh, I missed that part.
That's a tiny little Easter egg. The details.
Right on.
It just popped in my head. That was a very quick Photoshop, but I was happy with that idea. Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? We just got done talking about... Well, I guess you'll just have to download it.
Yep.
You inspired a wonderful conversation, and pretty soon you'll have tempted me to come up to Toronto. It's really not that far away, probably 5 or 6 hours.
Man,
it's not bad at all. Canada's only an hour and a half away. Good old Canada. Oh yeah, when my parents lived in Chatham, they're what's up, board Matt? Their neighbor's name was Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
And the little boy's name was Alistair. And there was on You Can't Do That on Television, there was a kid named Alistair. So I just thought it was a regular name. I didn't know any other than that. And I didn't realize it seems like it's like a hardcore Canadian-only name. At least in North America. I don't know, maybe there's a bunch of Alistairs in Europe somewhere. I don't know.
Alisteria.
But yeah, I don't know. Aleister Crowley and that crazy
Hmm.
kid next door, and you can't do that on television. I wonder if Aleister Crowley is Canadian. That whole.
Makes sense.
I don't know, Kevin. You'll have to help with that. So,
Doing some alchemy, trying to make some poutine.
hey, that's what I would call it. Yeah. There would have to be at least one called The Alchemist. You know, one of the poutine options.
Oh yeah.
So if you'd like the audio version of our podcast, you can get our RSS feed at our website, classicelite.com. It's Classic L337. Also, we are on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that fun stuff. Kevin says he's never watched You Can't Do That on Television.
Well, clearly they couldn't in Canada.
Well, it's a Canadian show. We used to get the CBC where I live, so I saw like Degrassi and all that stuff growing up. But You Can't Do That on Television was a Nickelodeon. Like, that was nationwide. Maybe Kevin's a little too young for it, maybe. Because it went off air in the mid-'80s, like 85, 86.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing reruns. I think he's a year too younger than us. But anyways, yeah, so you can get our audio versions there. Our audio version includes cool music, which I'm excited to play this week's music. Social media, we are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know about Mixer. We're also on Twitch. Any of those places, just search for Classic L337, and you will find us. Also, if you follow us on SoundCloud, I share music. So if you're interested in video game or chiptune music or anything, let us know, and or just follow us there, and you'll get all that great stuff. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to Amazon through the links in our description of the YouTube video or on our website. It's in all the show notes. So if you go to Amazon through those links and buy something, we'll get some credit for that. And then if you get digital games, that helps us a lot. This week for outro music, we have DJ Cutman featuring Breakbeat Heartbeat. So we have a nice little matchup of artists that we've played a bunch on the show before. This is a remake of the song from KO Garden from Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
It's a great, cool tune. The melody in this song is from that game, so that should that should take care of that. It's a cool song. It's got a good summer vibe to it. I think it's very appropriate to buy right now. What I will have is a link for the SoundCloud, but you can also buy the album and support both of the artists. It's a whole compilation that DJ Cutman put together. I'm a big fan of what he does. I feel like he's doing God's work as far as video game music and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm glad he gets to make a living, like going all over and producing all this music and working with all these neat people, producing a weekly radio show. And he does a very good job. So big thank you to DJ Cutman. So make sure to support him in some way. And yeah, that's going to be it. So Dustin, thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
As always. We hope that everyone enjoyed episode 238, and we will see you next week for episode 239.
Boosh.
All right, Kevin, we are going to call it a show, man. Thanks for stopping by, and Board Matt. Hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. We'll see you later.
Peace out, guys.